Live to the world. F it. We'll do it live. What's up, everybody? We're doing it live. We've been doing it live all month, baby. This is it. The grand finale of the month long. What a month it's been. Oh, I want to call that up. Have that ready. You guys are watching the pre-show. We're going to get started in just a few. I do this every day. We do a little bit, just a few minutes behind the scenes while we get situated, let people trickle in through the various streaming channels. This is the last live stream this month. The last live stream for a while until we figure out exactly what we're going to do. So please stick around. Toast to I forgot my drink. I wanted to make a drink and everything. I forgot my drink. So we're about to get started. Just a couple minutes. Please settle in, relax, sit back, pull up, bring your lunch or whatever. Say hi in the comment section. I can see you. I want to make sure that I sound good, taste good, feel good, smell good. You guys hear me well? And then we're going to get started in a few minutes. Got a great guest today lined up to take this month-long live stream series out proper. And it's been a great month, man. We've had a lot of amazing guests on this show talking about the intersection of hip-hop and different areas of society to improve humanity and uplift folks' lives and livelihoods. All right, cool. So that's it. I'm going to cut right to the chase. We're going to get right started. So let's go. Jay Webb in the house. I see you, sir. All right, so let's go.
The thing about hip-hop today is it's smart. It's insightful. The way that they can communicate a complex message in a very short space is remarkable. And a lot of these kids, they're not going to be reading the New York Times. That's not how they're getting their information.
My hip-hop will rock and shock the nation. Hip-hop culture is more than music. Peace to you. And speak the truth, show 'em what peace can do in their race for you. My hip-hop will rock and shock the nation. Rap is something you do, hip-hop is something you live.
So hip-hop didn't invent anything, but hip-hop reinvented everything.
Yes, y'all, you don't stop. One more time for your mind for the month of September. Oh, my light's not on. Hey, Google, turn on office lamp. It's your man, Manny Faces, rocking with you one time. This has been the live version of Hip Hop Can Save America. Live for the month of September, Monday through Thursday, 4 days a week. Been bringing this podcast to you live. Of course, it's been in existence for a couple of years. So if you know me, you know about it already. And if you don't know me, that's cool too. Hey, the chat stopped working. Anyway. If you could, peace to Jay Webb on the check-in, always showing love and supporting. I appreciate you, and I appreciate anyone else who tuned in with us. We are live and direct. And because we're live, some things don't always work. And I lost the box. What I have here is I have a box where I can see all the comments coming in from the different channels where we're broadcasting. For some reason, it doesn't work. All right, whatever. Keep commenting anyway. Talk amongst yourselves. But that's cool. So anyway, back to the program, back to the matter at hand. Live all month in September. We've been bringing you this program live. It's an extension of the podcast. It's been going on for a couple of years. And then what I decided to do for the month of September, because pandemic life wasn't complicated enough, I decided I would rock a video version live almost every day this month. So it's been going wonderfully. I just want to say thanks to everyone who's checked in with us, watching either on Facebook, YouTube, or subscribing as a podcast. The podcast feed is important. Though this live stream will end today, this month-long extravaganza that you've been riding along with me with, we will continue to drop brand new episodes. I have a bunch in the vault that are all already done. They were done before we did the video thing. So I'm going to finish those up, and we're going to be dropping those out through the month of October. So if you've been paying attention for this whole month and you're interested in this kind of discussion about the intersection of hip hop with different areas of society to uplift humanity, areas like education, science and technology, politics and social justice, spirituality we touched on, entrepreneurship, which a little bit today, a little bit yesterday. Also shouts to yesterday's guests, the family from Bonfire Radio, TK Dutez and Conscious, who came through and just dropped gems, just sprinkled gems all over the floor. I had to put on shoes. There were gems everywhere. I was getting, my corns were getting burst. It's disgusting. But thank them for coming through and shedding some light on how it is to be independent media, just dealing with the landscape, with everything changing and moving and grooving with the times. I'm not going to run down the whole list of who participated this month, but the guests were just innovative and inventive, brilliant geniuses, from teaching artists to educators, to Elena Romero spoke about how hip hop has remixed the fashion industry. Legendary hip hop photographer Ernie Panicoli was on the show. We just had a slew of brilliance. The folks from Culture Fix, Delvin Case, who again talked about why white Christians need hip hop. Fascinating conversation. Just look, this is the smartest hip hop podcast, and that's the kind of stuff we talk about here. So thanks to everyone who's checked in. Come on time. I asked 17 people to meet me at 1:00 this month, and they were like, "Yeah, I got you. I'm coming through," and they all did. No flakes, no drop offs, no nothing. So from the bottom of my heart, I think everyone appreciated it who watched, and we tried this grand experiment together. Today actually is International Podcast Day, so very fitting that we take out the month-long series with this. Again, sign up, subscribe as a podcast wherever you find podcasts. Hip Hop Can Save America, and if you maybe you're not into podcasts, you have Spotify, right? So it's there too as a podcast. Follow it there, super important. Shouts to the friends and supporters who have been already signed up for the Patreon account. I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Manny Faces. I encourage you, if you like the work that I do, there's a few costs involved. And, your contributions very transparently will go directly into continuing work like this. As I promised long ago that I would keep doing new things. And then look, I did a new thing. So my word is my bond. Patreon.com/Manny Faces. Of course, also shouts to Funkadelic Studios, who supported this podcast in its current form. If you're in New York City, you're a musician, an artist, you've been itching to get back into recording, rehearsing kind of spaces, Funkadelic Studios open, keeping it very safe for people to come in and continue their musical journeys. And I know a lot of folks are itching to do that. So check them out. The Newsbeat podcast merges social justice journalism with hip hop to tell compelling stories that get overlooked by the media, but are very important, especially in this day and age, especially after last night. If you saw this debate, you know what I'm talking about. Et cetera, et cetera. But Newsbeat does a great job at bringing these issues to light and also offering solutions, telling you who the organizations and the activists and the people on the ground fighting the good fight. So Newsbeat podcast is and it's very entertaining because we use music and hip hop to kind of amplify these messages. It's pretty dope. And once again, lastly, me, Manny Faces Media. I put it all together. You want to do something funky, fresh like this, make it look good, make it sound good for the interwebs, holla at me. We can make something happen. Speaking of which, because I had a little hand in this this other magical thing that happens online that you all should know about. That used to happen offline, now happens online, which is why I wanted to talk to the mighty Corey James Gray, who's in the building. Hello, sir.
What's up, man?
What up, brother? How you feeling?
I am here. I am feeling blessed and warm.
Well, I know you are warm if you are where you were. So it's getting fallish up around these parts. So, we're getting there. It's good to see your face, man.
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Virtually.
I appreciate it.
All virtual love.
It's better than no love.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Computer love. So listen, man. Thank you, by the way. You're the last guest of this this month-long extravaganza that I've pulled off somehow. It's ridiculous.
Amazing.
It's international.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's International Podcast Day. You are sort of an international guy, so it's actually fitting. I didn't plan that. You didn't plan that. It just makes sense. And to the world, you are doing something that I think has always been forefront and amazing. when it comes to the merging of hip hop and society, just by taking the music and the culture and manifesting a wonderful display of talent and creativity for many, many years. They see it on the screen. It's Freestyle Mondays, a world-renowned program that I just would like to. We don't have to go through the whole origin story and tell that story again. We've told it a lot, but just real quick for the people, what Freestyle Mondays was, evolved into, and then now is, if you could, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's evolved a lot. It started. We'll give you like
a little origin story.
Yeah, a little origin story.
Last time on Freestyle Mondays.
Last week, last 20 years.
Right.
In 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. The catch up is basically. It started as an open mic jam session. It turned into a game show battle. I wanted to put together a battle that both tested wits and made sure people were freestyling, because I used to battle a lot.
Yeah.
And I was always freestyling and cats would come and it's just not what I wanted. So so it turned into the game show, which we went through 15 venues in New York City because venues shut down, small to medium sized venues shut down. Anything less than 500 people is just like they just kill
died
it.
Out. Yeah.
So yeah, then COVID happened. I mean, fast forward to having it from weekly for 12 years to monthly. Then COVID happened, and I'd been thinking about taking it online for a very long time. I just didn't know how to. And you know what? That's a lie. I just didn't put the effort towards figuring out how to do it.
You were like, it would be cool. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, let's go do this live. You know what I'm saying? Right. But this kind of forced my hand because I missed the community. I missed the battle. I missed putting it together, and the MCs were bugging me. My inbox is blowing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now it's now online for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People get bored. Be like, can we freestyle? Can we do something? And you're like, yeah, no problem. And then obviously taking it online and we'll talk about like what went into that. For the people, again, sometimes I don't know who's tuning in. So some people may know Freestyle Mondays. They may know what we're talking about. Some may not. The game show, battle, freestyle. People do know a little bit about freestyle if you're not connected to hip hop culture that much. They think of Freestyle Love Supreme, or they might have seen things on the web, what is it, like rap battles in history, and seen this like corny things, these historical figures. But the concept is a little bit related in that this game show posts contestants on a stage to make up rhymes at the top of their head, impromptu, totally off the top of their head, about subjects that they didn't know were coming, and then just go at each other. There's something special about that aspect of the musical genre of hip hop. There's something really one of a kind. You only see it in one space. You'll never see the same performance twice. You'll never, and these concepts are just so ridiculous, sometimes it forced people to, you had to be smart, witty, and talented at rap. Like, you couldn't just be a good rapper to be a Freestyle Mondays competitor. Explain to me like some of the best attributes and some of the best things you saw over the years. Personally, I think freestyle artists are some of the most, literally, I'm not saying this to because we're advocates, some of the most brilliant people I've ever met.
I agree.
Yeah. Explain that to people who may not be fully familiar with. We see freestyle and then there's a guy holding his phone and he's rapping, and that's not the freestyle we're talking about. Or you see freestyle, like I say, kind of in a setting that may be a little bit more palatable to the public, or whatever you want to call it. What did you see in these people over these years that just let you know that this is just brilliance in a brilliant form of art?
People would ask me all the time, during the 12-year span where we were doing it weekly, like, do you get tired? Don't you get tired of listening to people who rap?
Right.
But it's more than just listening to people rap, because throughout the evening when we used to do it live, even in the battle that we do now, you find out a lot about folks when they're freestyling. The people who can freestyle very well are the people that get out of their own way, basically. You know, you see people hit a meditative state, and that kind of carries out into the crowd, and I just happen to be next to the person. So it's a high for me that happens. That's beautiful. And to see somebody get stuck, basically, that's my favorite thing. To see somebody get stuck and try to see how they would get, and this goes to different sports. You can put this in different concentrations. Like if I'm a ball player and somebody's guarding me a certain way, I'm like, oh, how would I cross him up to get out of this situation?
Right.
You know, so to hear people's train of thought and to see them sort of like see the gears kind of slow down, like where am I gonna go, and jump on a subject and a topic that may not that's exciting to me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the psyche is exciting.
Yeah, and it's very sports like. It's very, you know, it's entertainment, obviously. When you did them live, backed by an amazing live band or a sort of a rotating cast of characters that all seem to form into this live band experience. The music aspect of it, seeing people jumping through their mental gymnastics to get back on track, dropping a punchline out of nowhere, crowd erupting. I mean, it was a high kind of thing. It was a really exciting experience.
Yeah, and most of the time I'm not even rapping. You know,
right.
I'm just there as a fan of hip hop. I'm there as a fan of live music. I'm there as a fan of just witty people. I'm there as a fan of vulnerability. You know, because during this battle, there's a portion of it now. You know, with the new one I brought online, just for the vibe of the pandemic and everything. There's nobody is actually insulting the other person directly. You know what I'm saying? The only time they'll insult them is if their character, a person, you know, if there's like Kanye versus Trump,
right?
You know what I mean? Or like a dolphin versus an ant,
right? Which happens. Of course, it does. That's good. It's always been. I mean, I know maybe we had BS on here, a few episodes ago. And BS has been obviously down Freestyle Mondays for a long time. Talked about the art of freestyle, the mental prowess that it takes to do this and to build it up. But you talked about something about being vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there, you know, sort of on stage, spur of the moment. What are you going to say? I can freestyle a little bit. I never took the plunge. I was just like, you know what? There's a line I'm not going to cross. I'm not going to put myself out there like that because it's a battle. It takes some guts. I'm not going to lie. But we talked about in that episode, I think you'd agree that participating in this as a fun kind of thing to do, even freestyling just in general, not necessarily on stage and battling, can benefit you, can benefit your mental acuity, can benefit you from a public speaking point of view, standpoint of confidence building, self-esteem. Explain how you've seen maybe people throughout the course of Freestyle Mondays come in, be very green, be very, you know, uncomfortable in their freestyling career, and then blossom over the years. You've seen that happen in front of your eyes, I would imagine. Oh,
completely. And just to touch on the mental health aspect, I've for the past, before COVID, for the past 2.5 years, I've run a freestyle workshop with senior citizens.
Right.
And that just that alone, it lowers the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. So scientifically.
We'll come back to the other thing. Tell me about that. What does that look like? Because, you know, again, I love it because we talk about intersections here all the time, hip hop and something else. And I can say, you know, freestyle, game show. And I'm like, I know freestyle. I know game shows. How do you put it together? Well, you did. You just said freestyle sessions with senior citizens.
Yeah.
I know freestyle and I know senior citizens. Break it down for the people.
Yeah. I mean, it started as me going in and doing poetry. And then once we started, there were 6 senior citizens. One passed at the beginning of COVID. So, you know, rest in peace. Rest in peace. So it started as like a poetry thing. Then I realized after talking about musical history with them in hip hop that they were intrigued. They were very intrigued. So I would freestyle. It's supposed to be a writing thing, but when I would freestyle, they loved it. And then I knew a little bit about, I saw a documentary a a few years ago about freestyle and the power of freestyle and how they talked about Alzheimer's and dementia, and I was like, oh, hold on. So it kind of happened not by mistake, because it's not a mistake, but I didn't go in with the intention.
You're like, oh wait, I can do that too.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, hold on.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, 2 years later, it's let me tell you, we have very raunchy, hilarious ciphers. They're very raunchy.
I can imagine.
Raunchy. And I have them all. I record them all. Them all. Yeah. I have them. I have the audio of the last like 2 years. I just put my phone out, and then I have a massive library.
That's amazing.
Of the seniors freestyling and whether it's 2 bars, 4 bars. Yeah. It's really, and they all play off of each other, and we do these wordplay things, these for quickness, and it's really, really dope.
That's the Lord's work, sir. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Yeah, man, I can imagine. And what's the reaction been? Like, what have they told you, or anecdotally, that they get out of that?
They for them, it's somebody who, they're all Black seniors, by the way.
Okay.
It's somebody, it's a young, semi-young, gray hairs, Black man coming to kick it with them. So it's not about the mental health for them. Yeah. It's about the company, and like they're family. Like they throw me birthday parties. They have gifts for my kid every year. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. They saw me through my first child with the pregnancy and everything.
Yeah.
So it ended up to be more of a comfort family thing, and it's kind of like slipping medicine in with the sweets.
Right. Right. Got it. That's dope, man. That program. So I want to talk again, shifting everything online, having a pivot and do these things. Is that something you're still able to do, or is that kind of on hold because of everything that's going on?
I'm gonna bring it back right now. I'm just trying to raise funds to make it happen, because I do want to keep it free.
Yeah.
I would really like to keep it free and expose, because it's more than just it's partially so that people have the dough. I'm not trying to take a lot of people's dough. I'm trying to take companies' dough right now.
Right.
So I want people to have access, one, and two, I want it to spread as far as possible, because the MCs and producers are all independent MCs and producers. So it's a platform that I really want to have out there for them. And so funding is the main thing right now to make happen. So I heard you talk about your Patreon. We need more people in the Patreon. We can get this thing going, because 100%. I've been pulling that out of pocket.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what it looks like. I have it on the screen. I have your last season 2, episode 5 grand finale playing on the screen, all fancy pants. You know how we do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you've done a remarkable job, obviously, kind of managing the technical aspects, putting all these things together to turn this live event into something that's not only virtual, but it's a totally different animal.
Yeah.
Like the DNA is the same, but it's not like, oh, if we just if I was a lecturer, I just do it online. Big deal. It's nothing. I'm doing a podcast. I mean, I don't have to have all the fancy stuff. I could just have a camera, and people do that. They've gone online. I'm a DJ. I've gone online and I DJ. It's the same thing. This is not the same thing. You had to translate a very, very live. Again, live band doesn't exist anymore. Audience sort of exists, but doesn't. Audience would be like, choosing the winner of each round. You had to flip that. Explain. Don't explain all the things you had to. We'll be here all day. Some of the things you had to translate from offline to online, because I think you did it brilliantly, and I just want you to explain it a little bit and take some credit for it.
I don't really like to take credit for a lot of things, and so the first thing I'm gonna say is the MCs and the team that I had that helped me out. I put a lot of work, man. It was a lot of.
we can full disclosure. You know, I helped you out a little bit. You know, showed me all the things you were doing. You know, whatever little help I was able to contribute, great. But you put in the work to make this happen. So,
well, I mean, you know, it was just before Manny Faces stepped into the scene. It was going to be just a Zoom battle, and I was going to like, you know, flip through gallery and this view, and then you're the one that actually was like, hey, why don't you do this? After like the third or fourth 3-hour Zoom try with a lot of the MCs that were taking their time out to help me out.
And I was like,
crazy.
This might be better. I don't know, but
and then then you told me that. Yeah. It was all over. Then it was like rabbit hole, you know? And then, so thank you to you. Thank you to Sean Randall. You know what? Things really just came together. Like things really, really came together. The people came together. The first season was the toughest because I was basically doing it all by myself.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pieces to juggle. You have contestants, so you have a one-on-one. You have to manage that. You have to have them somewhere waiting. So there's a Zoom thing going on. They rap over beats that are submitted by independent producers. So
that I'm running those as well.
Right. That's what. So you don't have the live band anymore, but now you've substituted for, you know, beats by independent producers getting their sounds heard, which is great. You have the spin the wheel app, which I just showed on the screen. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. Five screens usually is what I'm using. That includes like, you know, the timer and a clock for different things, and then like a screen just to have the information for the because I'm also featuring artists for 1 minute, you know, and I call it the quarantine minute. And so just artists that I think are dope, DJing, rapping, dancing, whatever. I have them in as like a little commercial, 1 minute bow, and then our sponsors and partners, we do. I have them. They gave us a 15-second spot, so there's these 15-second spots. It's like
literally commercials.
Yeah, literally, you know, commercials. Yeah. So there are a lot of moving parts, and it took a lot. It took a lot of 8 to 12-hour days to figure out just how to and a lot of giving up. I gave up. I was like F this, and I was like flipping things over. You know, like I can't. You know, I can't.
I remember you literally told me, he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it. Forget it." And then
there was one night, one of those nights I was talking to you. And you were like, try this.
I think we had a breakthrough that night.
Yeah.
I was your technical therapist.
Yeah, really though. I was
Sean Randall on the check-in. He knows.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I mean, again, I'm blessed to have. I just want to shout out a few of the people.
Please.
You know, Sean Randall has been amazing from 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning when I need somebody there to test these things. And you know, I put it out there online that I was going to do this. I was going to bring Freestyle Mondays back, and a person I hadn't seen, and you know, you and I were trying to work out how to do the voting thing, the polling situation. Yeah. So a person I hadn't seen since I think it was like 2008, 2007. Just replied to the post going, "Hey, I just finished school doing this tech stuff. Let me know what you need." And he built the online polling system.
Right. Which is the way the audience gets to now choose the winner.
Exactly. So that was a big
in
thing
real time. It's like
in real time. Yeah.
You don't have to go off to a Survey Monkey page.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to text 88877.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then accidentally donate $100 to a campaign.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So you have
shouts
that
to Bonfire Radio always.
Yeah, for sure. Just had them on yesterday. It's been a family affair these last couple of days. So that's super dope. So I've been showing some clips from it. If you're listening on the podcast feed, there's nothing else you could do but to go see it and go watch it. And you know, it's an experience that it's hard to describe in the words we're using without actually seeing it. You had a couple of, so you said the first season was tough because you're kind of figuring it out as you go. What have you gotten out of doing it online? You mentioned before the reach has been different. So this is what I've been talking to people during this COVID time. Educators using hip hop or hip hop minded educators, they've had to adapt just like everyone else, distance learning, do all the things. A lot of people who are going out and doing youth services in person. A lot of people who are doing things in person. but something about being hip hop, something about having that, we already kind of figuring stuff out and finding a backdoor way of doing things and smack it, flipping it and rubbing it down to make it work. We've never held back by, oh God, what do we do now? We actually find a way to do it. So when you took it online, again, you not only just kind of picked it up and dropped it here, which a lot of, like I said, DJs do, they've been doing it, but you said, no, I'm going to pick it up and remix it and flip it. So I think we're better equipped for that sort of adaptation.
Agreed.
You know? And like you said, even the evolution of Freestyle Mondays over the years, you've had to always kind of change it up a little bit as you go. Mm-hmm. So with that said, doing it this way, reach just might be the answer. I don't know, more people in different places that never saw it because they weren't in New York City or one of the other cities around the world that Freestyle Mondays, spawned. Also, I just want to give props to the fact that it's a worldwide movement. But so reach might be the answer. What else have you seen that has come out of doing it online that you may not have had when it was in its live incarnation?
I think the biggest thing first, before I want to shout Far Beyond, so I don't forget, because
he
played it. Yeah, he plays an integral role. Yeah, the biggest thing is the reach and having people tune in from different countries, like you said. Mm-hmm. A lot of this stuff was there were a lot of hurdles in getting the technical stuff together, but at the end of the day, having people on the because we have so much Freestyle Mondays fam in the United States on the West Coast,
right?
Besides in Strasbourg, France, I'm able to have Strasbourg, France is the other satellite version. Also Czech Republic and Prague. So I've had to they've been able to not only tune in, but I've given them a little feature to talk about what's going on there. So that kind of thing itself, that kind of reach is really, really dope. Yeah. To the access that people have to be able to join the party, yeah, to be able to freestyle has been dope. And then it's on off nights during the season, I'm always doing random nights to kind of test, but still connect with the community. I just hold these open mics over the beats that isn't blasted out to everybody. It's just a private Zoom thing, and I record it, and I send it out to them if they want it or whatever. So that kind of connection is really dope as well, and that's been big for me. Being away from a lot of the people, still in like quarantine, from the New York fam. So it's good to from the New York from people all over the world. So that connection, you hit it on the head. The connection has been the largest part, the best part for me. Yeah.
I got you. And you're, again, we joked this is International Podcast Day, and you're a very international guy, not for necessarily where you might lay your head these days, but because you've traveled, you are an artist. People who might not know you have been paying attention, like, wow, this is fantastic. This guy's a great host. Yeah, but you're also an artist. You've traveled the world artistically. How long have you been sort of not being a hobbyist? How long have you been a professional musician, releasing music and traveling the world to perform?
I would say 10 years. Yeah, maybe a little bit longer, but I was kind of dabbling in other things before. Right. But a strong 10 years. And before my son, I was touring half the year out of the country. I was touring 6 months a year.
Yeah. What was that like? But because we always talk about. In the music business, we know a lot of people in the independent music business or people who are dabbling but still doing music, trying to make a living at it. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting place to not be sort of a traditional star, being commercial, record deal, all those things, but not just being a hobbyist, someone that can actually kind of make a living, tour the world half the year, 6 months out of the year, you're in other countries touring. What is it like to have that freedom as an artist? I know it's difficult, obviously a lot of work. You're managing yourself for the most part, or you're making these things happen. But what were the I guess the pros and the joys of being able to live that life for a minute?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but that was one of the dreams. It was one of the dreams from the first time I went out with my first band, Spoken Movement. The first time I played out of the country, it was an addiction. I love airplanes. I love hotels. Like, I love everything. I love trains. I love to write on trains. Like, I really, really enjoy that movement. The movement of in sort of of connecting with people, the movement, and connecting with the different cultures. Because when whether I was touring alone or with some of the homies, I always made sure it was a local movement that I was making. You know, there were local moves that I was making. Hey, where's the favorite local restaurant? When I'm in different countries, I'm learning little pieces of language. I'm hitting up a museum. There's always these like day trips and this culture. You know what I mean? So as far as that, you know, I'm a culture addict. So I like to like dip in, and you know, these relationships are the reason why I'm able. And I wasn't gonna say I was able, because I still am able when this thing opens up, that I'm 100%. Able to hop into a country or two. I can book a tour like next week on the strength of the work that I put in my skill set, but really the strength of the relationships that I built. Right, you know? So so I'm going to see homies who just happen to book.
right. That's the way to do it. And again, that's what led to, I think, some of the international editions of Freestyle Mondays. So again, you said Czech Republic, you're in a few places. Real quick, rattle those off once again for people know. Obviously, they're on hold as well for this whole thing, but I would imagine they were still up and running up until this, and will probably reemerge when things reemerge. So Freestyle Mondays now exists where?
In Strasbourg, France, and it's been 9 years. So the anniversary is in November, and then I was supposed to be out for both of these as well. And then Prague in the Czech Republic, it's the 10 years in another country. That just like poof, you know, 10 years, you know. So shouts to the Prague and the Strasbourg family.
I met the Strasbourg folks, I believe, when I was in was I in Paris or Lyon? Maybe I was in Lyon, I guess, and I think at one of the festivals out there. And it was amazing. Here I am, kind of fish out of water. My first time to Europe. My first time. I go out to the Les Originales festival in Lyon. They brought me out to do their 10-year anniversary, to cover it. I was writing for Birthplace magazine, my publication at the time, and I'm in Lyon and I'm chilling and I'm learning like and people are around. And don't you know, people come up to me and they know you. They're like Illspokinn, like, because you're formerly known as. So Illspokinn. They knew Rabbi Darkside. They knew Hired Gun.
Of course.
They know, like, they're like, oh, you're from New York. You must know Illspokinn. Like, yeah, actually I do. Because again, independent music set. But it was really quite something to see the influence reaching out. And just being sort of a beloved aspect of hip hop culture, the music, the art, the community, the creativity. That's the kind of export we want for hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, not the other stuff that kind of gets taken over in other places. You find that overseas, there's a different appreciation for the entirety of hip hop. Yeah.
Very true. I mean, it's here. You have to. It's something you've talked about a lot. People are always like, oh, hip hop is dead. All this stuff is whack. This, blah, blah, wine. I'm like, you know how much dope music is out. There is and it's every day. Bow, 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 bow. Like the only thing is, 2020, you have to dig for it a little more, because you don't need big studios and record companies to put your albums out. You know what I mean? So you get, it's just like anywhere else. You get, and what's exposed to people isn't always the fresh, dope stuff. You just got to dig for it a little bit.
Right. I've often said, as you know, on this show, and to anyone who will ask, and a lot of people who don't ask, I'll say, this is probably the most progressive, wide-ranging time for hip hop ever. If you want to literally find any type of hip hop that exists, someone's doing it. You want to talk to the old, like literally the pioneers and the elders. Of course they're getting older. We're losing some, but they're very much still around. You can actually just live in that bubble with them if you'd like. If you want to find, the new stuff that's on the radio, you can find that everywhere. If you want to find people that are doing these blends, these genre blending stuff, that's everywhere. If you want to find intellectual, hip hop, there's that. If you want to find cultural aspects, the b-boying, DJ turntable is like, it all exists, bro. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah, I don't understand those comments. I'm like, it's like the live scene culture in New York. You can find, or the restaurant culture. You can find anything. thing. You just have to you have to go and find it.
Right. There's a lot cluttering up the,
Yeah.
So of course you got to dig through the,
Yeah.
But that's how it works. Just, dig. You do though, make it simple for those that need an example. And so I've always appreciated it because there's a few things that I talk about regularly when it comes to making this argument to people. When it comes to live, and it shouts to like EO Dub and Supreme Bars, other real establishment kind of things in New York City. And of course, there's others in other parts of the country and world. Long-standing, long-running series that have always represented hip-hop properly. Freestyle Mondays is pretty unique, and it's pretty exciting and entertaining and fun and brilliant, and so it's always been at the top of my list of recommendations. So, that being said, it does continue online. Are you doing another round, or you're just waiting to kind of
I'm gonna do. We ran two seasons. So season 3 will be coming back because I do have faith that we will either get the correct sponsorship to make this happen, or the people will come together and donate to the Patreon so that we can make it happen. Because the people behind the scenes are working hard. I work hard. The people behind the scenes are working hard. I don't mind evening out, but I can't. I'm not. I'm not doing this right now. You know what I'm saying? I can't splash it on them.
I got you. So for anyone who wants to see I'm showing clips while we're talking to the people from the last grand finale. So if anyone wants to kind of check out the past prior episodes, everything exists. What's your central location? The website and of course a YouTube page, I believe.
Yeah, but you can just go. I send people to the website freestylemondays.com/live. And there are a few videos on that page, but that page will actually lead you to if you want to see more of this, they'll lead you right to the archive that's online. It'll lead you right to the archive of the YouTube videos.
I assume it'll also let people know how they can partake in it, either as people want to get involved as a performer, but as you say, importantly so, involved as a financial contributor to try to make this thing continue.
Yes. All the information is there. The sign up is there.
Yep.
For people who want to submit beats or you want to join in. The Patreon is on the front page of the whole site.
Yep.
And if somebody's watching and you're interested and want to learn more, info@CoreyJamesGray.com and we can chat about it.
That's what's up. You want to just curiously, again, people do know you from prior incarnations of names. What's this recent evolution about?
At the beginning of the year, I got it in a meditation.
You got the name in a meditation?
Yeah, I got it in a meditation. Simple. I got to change my name in a meditation. Okay. I got to cut my hair when I had my hair for 12 and a half years, my locks. I got that in a dream. I got the name of the band, Spoken Movement, in a dream. You know what I mean? So I just listen. That's it. But I've been kind of I've been feeling funny about Illspokinn for a second because just even introducing myself as a grown artist who I do more than just rap now. I do a lot of different things as an educator, as a voiceover actor, as a sync artist. I write for movies and TV and all that.
Right.
And I'm kind of that's not Illspokinn. Illspokinn is a super underground MC. You know what I'm saying? And educated. But I feel like that persona is the name and the persona didn't really fit. I kind of broke out of it a little bit. And I always side-eyed people who change their names late in the game. I'm like, oh, come on now. What am I supposed to just call you something different when I want
Okay, big baby Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. But then, don't be judgmental because then it comes around to you. And it kind of did.
You do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't my first name, this isn't obviously my name.
Yeah.
My name is Edgar Faces. But anyway, I So real quick, then at the end of the line, I think Freestyle Mondays will continue. I'm sure of it. I'm sure the universe will continue this. And as I was going to ask you, what are some of the other things you're doing as a very independent artist? You talked about doing voiceovers and things. Some of the other things you're getting into. That's what's taking up some time. And that's still active. That's still something you could do during these times.
Very active. Yeah.
Were you into it? Were you doing voiceover stuff before this? Did you like double it up? After this is you can't go anywhere to do things.
The universe has been very, very kind to me. It started off with Christian Almiron, I think his name is. I think the last name is the keys player from The Lesson. I think it's Almiron, but Christian, the homie, he called me up one day and was like, hey, because he used to work for a jingle house, and he was like, we need a rapper on this song. So I went in and I was like, who do you want me to rap like? And they were like, this person. And I was like, all right. So I rapped like, because we're rappers, we can change our voice, and you know what I mean. Sure. So then they were like,
oh, that's Milky's Revenge. I could do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Right. These rappers don't know I'm training them to do voiceovers. So I ended up doing, I think, 4 versions of that song that day with different producers in the place.
Okay.
And I wrote them on the spot as well, because it's like 8 bars of whatever. So I wrote these things, and that was probably 5 or 6 years ago, and that was kind of the beginning of being inside of that game. And then things kind of like started snowballing, and my show was on one of my songs was on NBC for the Winter Olympics,
right?
And like all these things started happening, and then I got a Sprite commercial, and my homie was like, "Hey, you need to go get an agent." I was like, basically looked at the top agents in New York, just kind of booked the
Yelp.
Yeah, I was like,
well, on Yelp, best agents,
best agents. Yeah, hey Siri, that kind of yeah. And I think Sean Randall was the one that was like, hey, this person is part of that agency. They introduced me. I went in. I was like, so I've never done voiceover before, but I rap.
Right.
So I have a home studio. I must be decent at it. And I told him about the NBA stuff and the stuff I do for the sports organizations. That was Siri.
Get out of the conversation, Siri.
Get out of the conversation, Siri. Yeah. So I kind of like went backdoor and I was like, hey, by the way, I have a Sprite commercial that's about to come out. And then they signed me for voiceover. So that was I think 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago, 2 years. So yeah, they hit me up, and I do the voiceover. I do it, from wherever I am in the world. The auditions, and now with COVID, I don't have to show up in person, because before you had to, if you landed it wherever I was, I'd have to fly back to New York and do the commercial there.
Now you have like a Source, was it Source Direct, Source Connect?
Source Connect. Yeah, Source Connect.
I'd be knowing.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So anybody out there trying to get into the game.
Well, that's why I asked, and I think that you've done again, evolution-wise, and shouts to Sean Randall again in the check-in. Shouts to Kitty Bradshaw, who said that's the ancestors talking to you through your dreams. And says, yeah, we evolve and make the necessary changes. This is why I think you're an inspiration to a lot of folks who have seen you over the past 20 years in and around New York and then throughout the world, because you were not in this one lane. You found ways to kind of evolve, and sometimes circumstances of the world, you ended up saying, oh, voiceovers, I could do this remotely. That's great. It all worked out. Fantastic. But it wouldn't have happened if you didn't try those things and pivot those things. And just for independent artists, young folks who have dreams of being a something, just can you explain what your advice, your general outlook on life to take those opportunities, try some things out along the way? You don't have to be, signing record deals to be a rapper that makes money and tours the world. Like, what do you look for? What do you tell people, when you talk to the youngins?
Yeah, I tell them
some oldens who are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Art begets art, man. That's kind of it. Like you get fresher in your art form when you step outside of your art form and see there's a lot of connections.
Right.
It's just like, and I am always telling rappers, yo, try to do voiceovers. Right. the inflection in your voice that we have to learn to put in the songs to tell a story.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. That's an easy.
That's natural.
Like,
that's what that people have to try to learn that to. Right.
Yeah, people take classes to do what we have to learn to do on our own in our closet with blankets everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, you know, I'm into production now. I DJ and I teach everything I do. But the fun part of it for me is well, not even the fun part of it for me. What the advice that I give is just to dabble into things, like keep your concentration front and center, but dabble into things that just interest you. That's it. Dabble into things that interest you, especially if they're connected, but you can find ways to kind of weave them in and out, you know, especially if it's artistically. You know, especially if it's artistically. Right. If you play a horn and you've been thinking about DJing, like, are you kidding me? Doing DJ sets and horn looping at like these are the little things that you know, for now when I speak to people are starting to think outside of the box like that even more, because it's like, I'm bored. What am I gonna do? Right. What can I look into? You know, so just I
don't recommend a daily video podcast. I'm just saying, if you know, hypothetically, I don't recommend that.
It's a lot of work, bro.
It's a lot. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's a lot of work. No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, the main thing is to stay open and sort of like be true to self, and don't worry about the editor in you maybe telling you that you're selling out. You know what I'm saying? There's this, especially in hip hop, there's this thing about you're selling out. So if you're true to yourself, whatever that is, if I want to next week start taking which is no problem, but in hip hop may be a problem here and there, not even a problem, but they might be like, if I want to go be a ballerina, you know what I mean? Is it a ballerino? How would you say? What's the?
It's a baller arena.
Ballerina. If I want to, I might just do it for the name, player. Switch.
Bars, baby. You know how we do.
Bars. Yeah, but just that kind of push that you need to have, because for me, every step of the way, I'm from Massachusetts, from a small town called Taunton. You know, every step of the way when I moved from Taunton to Boston, from Boston to New York, then I quit all my jobs and started touring. Like every step of the way, there were people that were like, "Oh, you can't, fair, here's fair, put the fair in your face." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just worrying about what people think and not taking a second to like listen and act. Because like I said, I changed my name from just listening. To listen to what you need to do, or what your passion really is, what makes you happy, and you could take a bunch of the things that make you happy and kind of smush them together. You know, these people doing country rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Number one bluegrass album in the country right now is Gangsta Grass.
That's right.
Bunch of rappers on it. I had them on this show.
Yeah,
like 2 months ago.
You're the ones that introduced me to that. Okay.
Yep. And they're dope.
Yeah.
And it's like you wouldn't think that this would be a thing. And they've been, I'm sure they've been, I talked to them, they've been struggling for a long time. Like, no, I know you think it's a gimmick. I know you, and people are like, you're not going to be able to do it. No one's going to take that seriously. Number one bluegrass album right now in the country on Billboard. Rappers in it. All kind of rapidy rappers too.
That's dope.
And social justice. They talk a lot of social justice on the bluegrass chat. And then they tour down in the Bible Belt. If you could do that, bro. Then what combination of things can't be possible?
Can't you do? So yeah, I mean, just push and stop listening, because social construct sucks.
Yeah, well,
social construct sucks.
Well said. But again, what's great is that this isn't theoretical. This isn't hypothetical. You've done this your entire career. You've shown it. You got the receipts to prove it. I saw you, you know, again, all the evolutions of Freestyle Mondays, deciding to be a DJ, then getting so good that you're playing out all over the place. Then you're playing with the NBA. You're DJing with the freaking NBA in like London.
Yeah.
From one day saying, I should learn to DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Loves that story. Yeah.
And then teaching DJ classes to pay it forward and get the next, and let others do it. I'm telling you, you've shown the way to a lot of people, and that's why I'm glad we were able to talk about it. I'm glad you were able to drop some gems. Right, I got more gems on my floor now.
Oh Jesus!
So many damn gems. It's ridiculous. Like Candy Crush exploded up in here. I guess that's candy. So
you got my joke book too. I see. You got my dad joke book.
I've been a dad for a long time, brother.
I'm brand new.
I put in work. I've been a dad longer than you've been doing Freestyle Mondays.
Yeah,
so by far. So
Bless you, bro.
Yeah, man. But and congratulations, obviously, you know, on your, but not Illspokinn anymore.
Yeah. But I can still be Illspokinn. I mean, this boy does more things than I do. So
he gonna have many aliases, I'm sure. All right, so what's next? We'll keep an eye out from Freestyle Mondays. Again, freestylemondays.com/live. Corey James Gray on the gram, and we'll follow your exploits for the remainder of eternity.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's how long you'll be doing it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, I could leave and, you know, it's still rocking.
That's true. Well, you have a legacy, sir. And I appreciate your work. As you know, I've appreciated you for a long time. One of the, like I said, very early things that I recognized about the work I do, that the work I do is worthy, because I want to tell stories and tell people that, no, it's not dead. Nothing's dead. There's geniuses out here creating wonderful experiences for people. And you don't do anything in New York City for 19 years if it's not dope. You can't. You're not going to last 19 years?
Yeah.
In New York?
Yeah.
Come on. It has to be. Like, just that alone. Like, people don't live in New York City for 19 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody lives for that
And they don't
long.
say that you're a New Yorker until you live there for 10 years. So, like.
Right. You only have a window of New Yorker niche. So, yeah, man. Well, listen, it's good to see you. It's good to hear from you. It's good to tell your story and share the good Freestyle Mondays gospel, man. So,
hey, thank you, brother. Thank you for the work that you do for the culture, you know, in general and in particularly for Freestyle Mondays. Thank you, bro. You always, I mean, you're repping from day one that I met you and I heard about you. You know, you've been like repping the culture and shutting people down, you know, who disrespected. You know, so thank you, because the people who are like, it's not even the front lines, the people who are out trying to like just do our thing, right, and trying to, whether it's platforms or just doing our thing for ourselves and trying to get somewhere, to have voices in the background being like, you're wrong about that part of hip hop. You're wrong about that part of hip hop. That's not what's happening. You're not listening. So we don't have to do it. Is dope. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
No, that's it. I appreciate the appreciation. That's it. We have the same mission, you know. But yeah, y'all got to do the work. Why should you have to sell yourself or convince? No convincing necessary. But I got it. I got you. I got it from here. Yay! Damn.
Yeah. Go buy a t-shirt. shopfm.com.
Yeah, no. I was supposed to buy one time, and you only had an extra large, which probably would have been fine. But psychologically,
all good.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's all online now. We got all the.
I'm gonna re-up and make sure that
shopfmgear.com for the people at home. Shopfmgear.com. Buy 50.
Well, what I like about it the most is that some of my favorite MCs are my friends. So that includes you, sir. Shouts to Marie from 5 Points in the house.
Hey, Marie.
Shouts to Cindy. Shouts to Kitty. Shouts to LaRue. Shouts to everyone else on the check. Adrian, AD.
Hey, AD.
Masaki.
Oh, that's the homie, Michigan.
Yeah. So a lot of people on the check-in today, which I appreciate. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Thanks, Corey. I'll have to get used to that still.
No, I don't.
Anytime, I know. It's just, you're still ill to us. You're still ill, so regardless.
I'll take it.
Ill. There you go, brother. All right. Anything else you need to tell? Ever have me broadcast? You got me.
Just thank you to the people for supporting the first 2 seasons and really showing up in numbers to watch the game show. Big shouts to the MCs, big shouts to the producers. As Manny said, if you want to get involved, and we always need hands on deck. So if you want to get involved, it may be a paying position when the sponsor comes through, but right now it's just for the movement. You know what I mean? It's for the movement. If you want to get involved, reach out to Corey James Gray on info at Corey James Gray, or hit me up on Instagram, Corey James Gray. And just thank you to the people, man. Thank you. Because, like, damn, thank you. It's dope to be able to have an idea and have people just ride with you, not knowing what the switch up is going to be, just to be there on the strength. You know what I mean? That's really dope. So the support is like, take a chunk of my heart and throw it in the camera.
Yeah. Well, you make it easy to support. It's something that anyone who knows it loves it. Anyone who comes across it, it's memorable. They're not, it's an experience. And online, you've shown that you can actually take things that were offline and fabulous and bring them online, even if it's not in the same shape or form, and make it groundbreakingly exciting. So thank you for your hard work and for doing what you do for the culture, sir. All right. Talk soon, and be safe, my man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Good rocking with you, man.
Yep. Peace.
All right. Peace. You can hang out in the green room, or whatever you want to do, cut out and enjoy your day. But thank you again, sir. There it is. Corey James Gray, formerly known as Illspokinn, Freestyle Mondays kingmaker of freestyle amazement. Online for more than almost 20 years in New York City. Spawned Freestyle Mondays children throughout the world. And took the COVID crisis to say, you know what, I'm not done inventing one of the greatest entertainment events in hip hop, period, and bring it online. So definitely check out freestylemondays.com/live for all the old episodes, the 2 seasons that have taken place so far. Contribute. I have a Patreon here, but do his first. It's fine. Do mine after. Do mine too, but it's fine. But support this movement. It's really, I've always said, it's one of the most exciting, entertaining, just brilliant live events I've ever seen. I was saddened, as we all were, when all of these things shut down. When everything got shut down. It's fascinating to see what EO Dub has done with the EO Zoom to bring their thing online in a totally inventive, different way. What Freestyle Mondays has been able to do to make sure that this is not done, that we're not done. So if you know Freestyle Mondays, know that it still lives on. If you were not previously familiar with it, get involved with the online version. And as soon as we get out this entire mess, make your way to a Freestyle Mondays location near you. So, yes, Kitty Bradshaw, this is the season finale of Hip Hop Can Save America Live. This is also International Podcast Day, so salute to the other podcasters, salute to the international world travelers. I decided this podcast has been happening for a long time, but it was intermittent. I would kind of do it. Kuzmi, what up, Chris? And I said, I'm just going to do this thing. I've dabbled in these online live streams before. I said, I could do it for a month. We can go live like 3 days a week or 4 days a week, or, well, how can we do it? I can get interviews. I can, talk this stuff. I can be more timely. Some of the stuff we interview is evergreen. It's great, but by the time I edit it, get it up on the feed, we could talk about things as they happen. There's so many people I had on a list. I'm like, let's just do it. And I was like, the only way I'm going to do it is if I just do it and book these folks. And then now they're booked, so I can't back out of it. I can't not do it. So for 4 days a week for the past month, I've done this show. Thank you. I could not have done this without my associate producer, Cindy, who helped with a lot of the bookings, getting everyone set up in the background while I start the show so that they're ready on the Zoom call, all the fancy pants stuff. Thanks to the patrons who have contributed to the patreon.com/Manny Faces, because that's how, like, some of these subscriptions, the restreaming, multi-stream, different platforms, the email subscription to let people know what's going on, the Zoom, I have to do the Zoom Pro or whatever. So thank you for all that. If you do want to contribute and see more things like this, do contribute to the Patreon. I also want to go the route that Corey was talking about with Freestyle Mondays. I don't want to take nickels and dimes from people. This is big stuff. This is important stuff. We're talking about the integration of hip hop and education and science and technology and the fine arts and entrepreneurship and independent artistry and politics and activism and social justice and spirituality and all these things. And these are messages, as you heard Corey say in the conversation, that have to get out to the world. Nobody's doing this sort of thing. I recognize that. This is kind of the task I've taken on because these stories don't get told enough and people do have to do the work. They don't have to spend half their time playing their own publicist. So we're trying to bring this to a bigger level, trying to bring this to a bigger platform. I don't want to take it nickel and dimes from everybody. So now would be nice just to help us continue to get through, but we're trying to take it somewhere. With that said, if you have ideas for the show, if you want to recommend a guest, and I got a bunch lined up already, trust me, but there's people I don't know about that you might know about that would be great for these conversations. Do check out hiphopcansaveamerica.com/guest, and you can recommend yourself. That's perfectly fine, but someone who you think exemplifies the kind of stuff we talk about here. And real quick, while I got y'all, please subscribe as a podcast. So even if you don't listen to podcasts, you have this. You could look up Hip Hop Can Save America on Spotify. Do it, add it, follow it. If you do have it on the podcast app, Apple Podcasts, great. Please leave a review if you can. That's going to help also as I approach other people and organizations to try to partner up or work and amplify this whole thing. Reviews are very helpful. So please write down, script it all out and say, I'm just going to leave a review for Manny. That'd be awesome. And thank you to the 17 people that we featured this month. Ridiculous. Silent Night, the band called Fuse, Innocence Project Ambassador, just super dope human being and a great artist. Band called Fuse. Shouts to Dialect, who fine arts playwright, does some great stuff. Also, Brunch and Budget, teaches financial literacy. Adam 7, formerly known as Mecha Godzilla, formerly known as Ravage, independent artistry, living healthy, veganism. We had David B.S. Bradshaw on the podcast tip. He talked about the art of freestyle rap and how it can also help you become a better public speaker. Use the skills that you develop as a freestyle rap artist in your corporate world as a more confident person. Great episode. Dr. Marty Carson, who talks about hip hop pedagogy, particularly in math, how you can use hip hop to teach math. The legendary OG hip hop photographer Ernie Panicoli. My friends at Newsbeat, the award-winning Newsbeat podcast, which merges social justice journalism with hip-hop, award-winning. It's the best journalism podcast by the New York Press Club. Best journalism podcast, beating out the New York Times and Bloomberg and NY1 and all these other places in New York. And it's got a bunch of rappers in it. But it also has interviews with amazing activists and people who are doing social justice work. It's the greatest podcast in the world. And if you don't know, now you know. Shouts to Macau Amin, teaching artist, just a great inspiration in the worlds of teaching and education and performance and working with young people. Just a great guy. Elena Romero, who, of course, wrote the book on the hip-hop fashion industry. She appeared in the Remix documentary on Netflix right now, the hip-hop, what's it called? Remix Hip Hop Fashions. The Remix Hip Hop Fashion. She was on this show. She talked about how hip hop took over the fashion industry and made it kind of its own for a while. Nora and Natalie from Culture Fix. Hashtag Culture Fix, and a global assortment of artists and creatives and entrepreneurs working together to bring social change. Amazing. Delvin Case, who wrote a great piece called Why White Christians Need Hip Hop. A really compelling argument for how white Christians may not even understand what they're missing by tuning out the voices of hip hop artists. Shouts to Dr. Nate Novato, an educator based out in Cali on the college tip level, talked about college counseling, not only an emotional counseling standpoint, but also guiding college students to their academic and future career paths through a hip-hop mindset. Dr. Tasha Iglesias from the Hip Hop Association of Advancement in Education. They got a big global conference on hip-hop education happening in February in New York City. We're going online. I'll be involved. Well, it was going to happen in New York City, but COVID. But it'll be online. I'll be involved. It's going to be dope. Summer who doesn't love summer? Summer from Hip Hop Hacks and the Mixtape Museum, working to document, digitize, and tell all the stories of mixtape DJs and the mixtape experience. Everyone has a mixtape memory. She's collecting them. She's putting it together, archiving it. She's amazing. Also runs Hip Hop Hacks, which is an organization that uses hip hop to teach young people the basics of computer coding and computer science and robotics, and giving young people access to areas that very often their schools neglect, doing it all through hip hop music and culture brilliantly. Dr. Ian Levy, a renowned school counseling professional that has for years, literally saved lives, I'm sure of it, through bringing hip hop minded approaches, culturally relevant, culturally responsive approaches to school counseling, to young people, middle school, high school, and using sort of a hip hop approach to connect, engage, and improve the lives of those young people. Dr. Ian Levy. Craig Arthur, who is the community librarian engagement director at Virginia Tech University, has a program called Virginia Tech Digging in the Crates, a wonderful community meets college meets hip hop studies program at Virginia Tech. Yesterday, the near finale, Bonfire Radio, community-based radio online for the people, by the people, been running for 7 years out of Brooklyn, New York. Just exemplary of what, when you say, or people say, and you probably say, we need to own our media. Our narratives don't get told. Hip hop, black and brown community, the narratives aren't told. You get cut off because you don't own the media. And everyone says, oh, we got to own the media. Bonfire Radio, black-owned media in Brooklyn, has been doing it for 7 years. And for me, is the blueprint. They're the blueprint. So follow them and engage with them. And finally, Mr. Corey James Gray, formerly known as Illspokinn, Freestyle Mondays, does freestyle sessions with senior citizens and enriches their lives, is a voiceover actor, does DJs for the NBA in London, overseas, has been the epitome of the evolution of an independent artist throughout the years. So inspiring, I think, for me, and hopefully for y'all. Woo, that's it. That's what we did this month. So thank you for listening to the rundown. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing some support and love to all of these great folks, and me for, bringing them to you. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a deep hibernating weekend. As I said yesterday, a CBD infused weekend, and recap what's happened here and figure out how to keep doing it bigger, better, brighter, stronger, faster, longer, wider, etc. So I'll be back. Now, subscribe to the podcast. I have new episodes that'll be dropping all through October, and then we'll see what happens. I know you'll be interested in those conversations. hiphopcansaveamerica.com for all the things, all the links, all the everythings. Thank you to everyone on the check-in. Chris, Sean, thank you, Kitty Bradshaw, superstar. Appreciate your appreciation. Thanks to Marie and Mears One from 5 Points. You see, I got a Mears One original right here. Definitely love the folks at 5 Points who have been just amazing folks to know and watch and be around. Shouts to everyone that's been checking in throughout this series. And if you're listening on the podcast app, thanks to you as well. I appreciate that, even though you didn't catch it live. We're here for you. Lastly, important links I'll put right here. But like I said, hiphopcansaveamerica.com is really where you go for everything. And I'm going to get out of here. And then I'll be back in one form or another. I ain't going nowhere. I've been doing this for 12 years. Birthplace Magazine, the New York Hip Hop Report, the Manny Faces Show, the Center for Hip Hop Advocacy, Hip Hop Can Save America, Newsbeat. I'm out here in these East streets. Be safe, y'all. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life or what to do, but vote. I know it's not what we want, but it's what we can't have. You know what I mean? So do your thing, do what you got to do, and then let's think about ways that really hip hop can save America. All right. I got ideas. I could tell you all about them. Might write them down. Might put them in a book. But we'll see what happens. Reach out to me on social media. I'm always around. I'm always down to have the discussions. And again, if you know people who want to be on this that you think would be great for this show, hiphopcasaveamerica.com/guest. That's it, y'all. I got to go. I got to turn this into a podcast episode. I got some other work I got to do before I go hibernate this weekend. So much love. I love y'all. I really do.